So if you're a business leader or you're studying to become one, you've definitely learned about analytics and databases. But what if I told you there's a huge gap in that education, a blind spot that honestly separates the good analysts from the truly strategic leaders? In this explainer, we're going to fill that gap.
Think about it this way. Business schools are fantastic at teaching you to be an amazing chef. How to take raw ingredients, in this case data, and turn them into these incredible business insights. But here's the catch. What they often forget to teach is how to manage the entire restaurant's supply chain, the massive, complex system that gets all that data to your kitchen in the first place. And in today's world, that supply chain is everything.
So here's the bottom line. You're taught how to build a perfect, well-organized filing cabinet, that's database design. And you're taught how to find amazing things in that cabinet, that's analytics. But what you really need to know is how to think at the scale of a warehouse, or shoot, maybe even a whole library. This is the big shift from just managing data to mastering a whole data ecosystem.
And that brings us to the first major hurdle we have to talk about, the problem of scale. The difference between a simple database and a modern data warehouse is, well, it's like the difference between a single filing cabinet and the entire Library of Congress. They're just fundamentally different beasts, built for completely different purposes.
Here's a great way to think about it. Trying to run, say, Netflix's recommendation engine on the exact same system that processes your credit card payment is like using a Ferrari to plow a field. I mean, sure, it has a powerful engine, but it's the absolute wrong tool for the job. It would be spectacularly inefficient, and you'd probably break the Ferrari.
To really get why, we need to understand the two main types of systems. First up, you have OLTP, or Online Transaction Processing. These are the systems that run the business day-to-day. They are optimized for one thing: speed. Super fast, super efficient on single, simple transactions, like swiping your card or recording a sale.
And the counterpart to that is OLAP, or Online Analytical Processing. Now, these are the systems that analyze the business. They're not built for those quick individual transactions at all. Nope. They're built to scan and analyze millions or even billions of historical records to spot massive trends like sales patterns over the last 5 years.
And this table just lays out the core difference perfectly. OLTP systems, they run the business with simple queries on what's happening right now. OLAP systems, they analyze the business with complex queries on historical data. You just can't ask a system designed for one to do the job of the other. It's a fundamental design choice right down to its core.
And the power of separating these two is just incredible. The famous, or maybe infamous, story about Target is a perfect example of OLAP in action. They analyzed purchasing history at a massive scale to identify patterns so subtle and predictive that they could figure out a teenager was pregnant before her family even knew. Now that is warehouse-scale thinking.
Okay, but the story doesn't stop there, because the world of data has already moved on. It's no longer just about separating warehouses from transaction systems. The modern architecture gap introduces a new, really critical concept: the lakehouse.
And you know what? It's actually a beautifully simple concept. A traditional data warehouse is great for your structured, organized data. Sales figures and a nice, neat spreadsheet. A data lake, on the other hand, is a vast repository for all kinds of messy, unstructured data. Think images, social media posts, sensor readings. A modern lakehouse simply combines the power of both.
And this is where things get really exciting. A lakehouse is what allows a company like Uber to analyze real-time ride patterns right alongside messy weather data to predict demand. It's how Spotify can mix your structured listening history with unstructured social media trends to create new playlists. It lets companies integrate data from every single swipe, sensor, and notification into one cohesive strategy.
And this brings us to the final and maybe the most critical blind spot: building infrastructure that's actually ready for artificial intelligence. Because let's be honest, today, just about every company is becoming an AI company. And AI has a voracious appetite.
So you might be wondering, why can't you just run your new AI model on your old database? The simple answer is that traditional databases completely choke on modern AI workloads. Things like computer vision, which has to analyze images, or natural language processing, which tries to understand text, they require a type and scale of data that those old systems were just never designed to handle. So, the crucial point here is this: AI isn't magic, it's an engine. And that engine needs a very specific kind of fuel, massive amounts of varied data, both structured and unstructured. And it needs a powerful engine to process it all, a scalable infrastructure like a lakehouse.
Success in AI isn't just about the algorithm, it's about the architecture that feeds it. A fantastic example of this is Stitch Fix. Their entire business model of having AI stylists pick clothes for you would be completely impossible without the right foundation. It's all powered by a sophisticated lakehouse architecture, built from the ground up to handle massive-scale machine learning, not a collection of simple databases. Okay, so we've covered scale, architecture, and AI, but why does any of this matter to you as a business leader? Because understanding this isn't just a technical skill anymore. It is the new language of business strategy.
You really need to make 3 critical mindset shifts. First, you have to be able to connect your company's strategic goals directly to its data infrastructure choices. Second, you need to speak the language of scale, not just simple data queries. And third, you have to think and design solutions that go far, far beyond the limits of a single database.
And this really captures the stakes. In today's market, a business leader who can't explain the difference between a data warehouse and a transactional database, that's like a finance professional who can't explain compound interest. It has become that fundamental. It's no longer optional knowledge.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Look at your organization, or the one you hope to lead. Is its data strategy, its very foundation, built to solve yesterday's problems? Or is it ready to power the AI-driven, data-rich world of tomorrow? The answer to that question could define your future.